Everybody, this is your host with the most, E Smooth. This is Uptown215 Media Productions, and I'm gonna get right into it, man. You know, something that really irks me, rubs me the wrong way, leaves a nasty taste in my mouth, is when you got black men and black women of authority who work on a particular job, whether 500 Fortune 500 company, excuse me, or some type of retail or corporation or independent business. When they get a position of authority, for some reason they seem to abuse it, and it seemed to dehumanize people, and in a very slick and sarcastic manner, try to underhand or degrade or make their employees feel less, or they're not doing their job accordingly, or whatever the case may be. Well, let me explain something. Everybody's not the same. Everybody don't work the same. Everybody don't have the same title. Everybody don't do the same thing. Everybody didn't wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Everybody don't have the same income. We all have different walks of life. We all have different job titles. We all have different responsibilities attached to that. No one's perfect. Everyone makes mistakes. So you are not better than me. You are not my father. You are not my mother. You are no kin or relationship to me. You have no right, and you have no justification or validation, rather, to talk to me or to belittle me in any way, regardless of my mistake or not. I'm saying this because I've experienced this several times, and I still experience it, and it's very, very frustrating, and at sometimes it's upsetting, and it leaves a very salty taste in my mouth. And sometimes, you hold it in so much because you don't want to lose your job, and or you don't want to quit and have to look for another job, so you try to keep your composure, so that you don't put yourself in a bad position, because at the end of the day, it's not worth the argument. This person, you feel like it's mistreating you, or it's always nitpicking, or or getting on top of you, very, very judgmental, like, or you know not pleased with your work ethics because it's not up to their particular standards, or they're having a bad day, or whatever the case may be, and it kind of leaves a nasty taste in your mouth, and it gives off a very bad vibe, and it makes it difficult for you to do your daily job tasks. And people like that, it's like, what, man, look, we're all here to do a job. Saying, regardless whether you're the manager or not, regardless whether you're the employer, the higher up, or I'm the employee at the lower level of the food chain, I still deserve respect. If I make a mistake, correct me in a professional manner. Pull me to the side, or make a phone call, or both, and let's discuss this in a private area, conference room setting, or something of that nature, or your office, whatever, or over the phone, off hours when we're not working, and discuss this like professional business people, or businessmen, or businessman, businesswoman. Don't come out of your character and expect me to still have the same respect for you, to still respect your authority, to still respect your credentials, your seniority here, with or without any justification to it, because to me it makes me feel like I'm worthless. My job duties are going unnoticed. I'm not appreciated, and when I feel like I'm not appreciated as an employee, and my duties are going unnoticed, and the bad is outweighing the good, when in reality the good is really outweighing the bad, and you're chastising me and nitpicking and criticizing and giving me attitude, and slick remarks, and being very sarcastic, and and then got the nerve to act all nonchalant about it, and then cutting me off mid sentence, and just saying, like, in my opinion, unprofessional, slick things. I don't condone it, I don't commend it, and I don't think I deserve that, and nobody else deserves that. So this goes out to everybody who is experiencing this, or has experienced this in the past. If you work for an employer, and the supervisor or the general manager at that particular company, or administrator at that particular company, um whether one of those three titles or whatever the case may be, if they're constantly chastising you or nitpicking, or making your day hard because maybe they had a hard day, or maybe their higher up who's above them is giving them a hard time. So it's kind of like the chain of command. It goes from top to bottom, and then by the time it gets to the bottom, they get the raw end of the stick, they get the shitty end of the stick because of whatever the circumstances is. Now, if you're standing strong and you're right, that's cool. That's one thing. And you're doing it and conducting yourself in a very cordial, casual, but yet professional, meet business manner, that's one thing. But when you step outside of that and try to get slick with your mouth, or say dehumanizing things, or what I like to call unprofessional, inappropriate things that may not come off to you in that sense or in that manner because of the way that you're exactly presenting it to me at that particular time and moment, doesn't necessarily make it good or right either. So, for all those managers out there who act like this, all the administrators, all the general managers, all the supervisors, all the CEOs of these Fortune 500 companies, these retail companies, businesses, corporations, independent contractors, independent corporations, etc., etc., people of this of this statue and these type of business in this business field, to come at your fellow employees who are supposed to be like your friends or your family, and come at them a certain way or talk to them a certain way just because you have a little position of authority, doesn't make it right, doesn't justify your actions, and doesn't make it good for you in terms of what I would consider to be equivalent to a good validation on my behalf or their behalf, because all you're telling me is that now that you got a little position of authority, you're abusing it, you're pushing your weight around, and for someone who's going to continue to take it and doesn't seem to care about it, or doesn't make any notations, or doesn't take it to another higher up about it, saying, just basically has to deal with that every day. So somebody could actually love their job and do a very good job and is commended by their other peers and co-workers or other people from previous jobs, and gets a good background check and gets a good rapport from other jobs, and has business stature and has a business mindset and is proactive in a sense and makes every day count, on time, courteous, customer service oriented, the whole 9 yards. And one thing goes wrong and shit hits the fan, and now everybody's feeling some type of way. And yet, instead of you being compliant with that and trying to come up with a scenario that would work, or a solution that would work more efficiently for the business as well as the co-workers who I'm amongst, whether below, on the same level, or above me, you're trying to put me down, but you're trying to do it in a slick way, and make it seem like that is the main objective, when in reality that is not the main objective. It became your main objective because you're going through something personal, or you're just having a bad day because you rolled over on the wrong side of the bed, or you've had a domestic issue in the past, or something's not right with your situation out of work in terms of your relationship with your soulmate or whatever. That doesn't fall on my plate. That doesn't pay my bills. That doesn't make my job easier. It actually makes it more complex, because now I have to deal with the fact that this person is going to literally, in uh in a verbal sense, politely bully me, because they have the authority to do it. And it's really not being polite, it's really being sarcastic and underhanded, and very sneaky, and immature, like, because you got to go to the extreme to make yourself better for the position that you hold, because I'm under, and you feel like here's your time to shine, due to something that you might be currently going through or went through in the past. Because I can't think of any other reason why someone you work with would nitpick or chastise you about anything just because they have a position of authority, unless you're doing something horribly wrong. If it doesn't involve some type of emergency, if it doesn't have anything to do with job sales or anything to do with the company ratings, as far as like maybe in the Better Business Bureau in conjunction with that, or if it doesn't have anything to do with public safety, or if it doesn't have anything to do with sexual harassment or verbal harassment, or if it doesn't have to do with anything like stealing or physical abuse, etc. Anything along those lines that are grounds for a write-up, suspension with no pay, or automatic termination, then there's no reason to be that petty. There's no reason to hound people, burden people, and make their day hard, make them unhappy when they came in the workplace happy, and bring that miserable attitude, unselfish, pessimistic vibe, and have it rub off on these people who actually do work, who actually do put in the footwork, who actually do take their job seriously, and you giving them a hard time and rubbing them the wrong way, and don't have any intentions on hiring anybody else, but yet you giving this person, the shitty end of the stick now, because either one, you can get away with it, and two, because this person is very compliant with the rules and regulations, and they're professional in their own sense, and they conduct themselves in an appropriate manner, in a very cordial, casual, meek manner, and they just want to get through the day and not rub you the wrong way, because they know they're not in a position to do that either, or anyway rather. So they're just really just trying to be compliant and humble with your rules, even if they disagree. And because you know that they have to, or they're just naturally good people at heart, and they don't have any intentions on jeopardizing their job over something petty, or on the lines of pure bullshit, then they're just going to sit there and take it. But how much can a person take before they snap? Or how much bullshit is somebody going to put up with before they bring it to your attention?